Aaron Rodgers went crazy. Lamar Jackson made his case to be league MVP and not Russell Wilson. Dalvin Cook banged in a couple of short scores, and Saquon Barkley gave us all a heart attack before coming back in the game and scoring a touchdown. Week 7 is mostly in the books, and you don't really need me to tell you about those guys because you're starting those guys every single week. They performed great for you. Instead, let's dig in and look at some surprises from Week 7, some actionable guys, and just some fun stuff that I've seen watching Sunday's film so far. Don't blink. This is the only time David Johnson touched the ball Sunday against the Giants, in a great spot as a consensus RB1 for fantasy, and he limped off, and considering he was questionable for this game, that's not good. The only other snap he played the entire game? Well, here it is. He kinda blocks, and that's it. Completely done for the day. And why am I showing you any of this? Because then it was left to Chase Edmonds to have the huge day we hoped DJ had in store. And I think it behooves us to look a little closer because after this week's nonsense, oh boy, Chase Edmonds is going to be under waiver wire consideration. If we look at this replay, it's outside zone. Congratulations. You didn't trip and fall down. Nobody touches you. I don't think we're overly excited about this score. And just like 4 minutes of game time later, here he goes again. It should be obvious what type of back Chase Edmonds is. The small-boned variety, 5'9", 200, little guy by NFL standards. Withstands a hit on this play. We'll take it. But once again, pretty wide open spaces. Honestly, these two plays notwithstanding, Edmonds is more of a jump cut, stop foot, go foot kind of guy than a true speed demon. But yeah, I think rewatching that, that's pretty much about the Giants' defense playing poorly. And this highlight is better. Again, the Giants' poor tackling is why we liked this matchup for Johnson in the first place. But this run, as we take a look at the replay for Chase Edmonds, it shows creativity on the hesitation and then a little bit of burst. Yes, another poor defensive play, but at least now Edmonds is actually making a move to get himself into that bad tackling New York secondary. To be honest, there was a ton of this as the game wore on. Some stuffage. The Giants finally started finding rush lanes and forcing Edmonds to the outside, and Edmonds really pretty much is a perimeter player, but without elite burning speed. But of course, the damage was very much done both by Edmonds, who nobody started because of course you didn't, and by David Johnson, who we were told was good to go. The Cardinals only dressed 2 running backs. Very frustrating. The Cardinals have a much harder game at New Orleans next week, and I'm real skeptical that Edmonds fits the profile of someone who's going to be physical with that defense. I also find it real hard to trust David Johnson until we hear he's fully back at practice. If he's out, yes, like it or not, the immortal Chase Edmonds will probably be an RB2 for fantasy. Okay, we'll be back in a second with Marvin Jones, Hunter Henry, Mark Andrews, and some other stuff. Audible has the world's largest selection of audio entertainment, including Audible originals and audiobooks, like, for instance, my novels. And you know what? If you get one of my books on Audible, you will become a person of the book. You will be admitted into our private Facebook group, and you will be eligible to come ask me questions via live stream every Sunday before kickoff. You know what else? Right now, you can do this for free. Start a 30-day Audible trial. Choose 2 Audible originals absolutely free and choose 1 audiobook. If you choose one of mine, boom, you're in for free. Just click the link or go to audible.com/HarrisTube or text HarrisTube to 500-500 and you will get that 30-day trial for free. It's fun. Go listen. Be a person of the book. Okay, let's talk about the other outrageous Week 7 outlying scorer, Marvin Jones of the Lions. While Kenny Golladay was busy catching 1 pass for 21 yards, good old Marvin, the wide receiver 5 overall just 2 years ago, went utterly bananas in this game, catching 10 passes, 94 yards, and 4 touchdowns. And you know what? I think you're going to recognize a pattern in 3 of the touchdowns. This one we've been showing you here, that's on Xavier Rhodes, who is no joke. Another red zone look, another body position special. This is part of what has kept Marvin Jones relatively high in my receiver ranks, albeit admittedly as part of the wide receiver 3, the infinite sadness. But he has shown for years he is a really dangerous red zone player. And then let's do it again to Xavier Rhodes. What can you say? Matt Stafford had his end zone mojo going with old Marvin. Kerryon Johnson being out and maybe them not trusting the run game in close had something to do with it too. The other touchdown we'll show you in a second was also red zone. Now, Jones is available about 30% of Yahoo leagues, and okay, I guess you can add him. Golladay is the better player in that receiving core. We all know that. So you're not going to find Jones ahead of Golladay in my ranks for Week 8, but the Lions get the Giants. Not a very good tackling team, as we've just seen. And the Lions sure do need a win. I think there's a pretty good chance you're going to find both Detroit wideouts in my top 25 for next week. Hard for Jones to follow up with quite this level of explosion. I guess it's good to know it's in there somewhere. Next, I wanted to show you some Hunter Henry from Sunday because it illustrates what I loved so much about him when I predicted his breakout a couple summers ago before he got hurt. Look at this catch early against the Titans. This is overthrown, and this is a tight end. Last week's production against the Steelers was highlighted very much by garbage time. This week, Henry was a little bit of a wrecking ball, and you want this guy in your lineup every single week. If you were smart enough to pick him up off the waiver wire, if he was cut during his injury time, if you're worried about flexing him because you've got another good tight end on your roster, don't hesitate. Most weeks, do it. And this isn't all just check down stuff. It's not safety valve stuff at all, at least not here. I mean, there's some of that, but Henry gets sent on more complicated downfield routes as well and proves over and over that he can handle it. He's an absolute star in the making, on the order of magnitude of George Kittle. And even on the more conventional seam stuff, Henry is a handful. He cuts hard, he presents a huge target, and he's a tough tackle. Here he looks like kind of any old tight end. I'm glad he can do this stuff too. And I'm also glad he gets to run these kind of routes. Same drive. I mean, Phillip Rivers did not play great on Sunday. He was off. And if you look back at this throw, really should have been a long completion, maybe even a long touchdown. Again, down the field to Henry every week. If you can, get him in your lineup. And the position is crummy, so you're getting Mark Andrews in your lineup every week too. Not next week, the Ravens are on bye. But something that stood out for Andrews on Sunday, he had an impossibly bad hands game. This one actually wasn't ruled a drop. He could have caught it for a touchdown, but clearly it was a good defensive play to rake it away once he was on the ground, real close to a score. I think I'd want you to catch that one, but yeah, technically not a drop. This one's not a great pass, not a perfect pass from Lamar Jackson, who really wasn't all that wonderful throwing the ball, but what a runner. Anyway, I mean, it's down near your feet, but you probably catch that. I mean, they're going to call that a drop, I'm pretty sure. It's at your feet. It's not really that bad. You should catch that. And can you argue this one's a little bit behind Andrews? All right, but catch the ball. Seriously, catch the ball. The weather wasn't that bad in this game. This is a 15-foot pass. Catch the ball. Are we done? We are not done. This was an all-time howler of a performance from Mark Andrews. Don't blame the wet ball. It winds up being 2 catches for 39 yards and pretty discouraging, but 8 targets. We'll take it. Hopefully in week 9, he gets his act together. And lastly, in a totally lost offensive effort for the Bears, pay no attention to the final score for the Bears. There was garbage time galore. My favorite moment was this toward the end of the game after Tarik Cohen gets up talking a lot of poop after a 6-yard loss. 2 Saints defenders tell Cohen he needs to be this tall to ride the ride. And that is pretty funny. Thanks so much for watching. Please, please, please smash that like button. Write a comment, tell us who else you'd like to see us review film on, and of course, best of all, please subscribe to our channel and then click that little bell above the subscribe button and you'll be notified whenever we post a new video.